Hey, what's going on? My name is Andy Monroe, the co-founder of Bullish Events. I wanted to make this quick video for you guys because Alex Hormozi, the godfather of the info space, the online coaching space, the online business space, consulting, all that good stuff, the kingpin of the industry, just endorsed in-person events, which is actually a pretty big deal because Alex Hormozi has a really good idea of where the puck is going. He works with a lot of companies, whether it's in his different coaching offers or acquisition.com. He works with a lot of coaching and consulting and info businesses, and I assume that he has a pretty good idea of where the industry is headed. And in one of his books from his recent book launch, it wasn't $100 million money models. It was one of the books that came along with his 200 book offer, the marketing book. He does a whole little segment on in-person events, and right now the industry is talking a lot about virtual events and that in-person events are going to die and there's no need for in-person events. But we are huge believers here at Bullish Events that in-person events are actually the future, and that as we get more virtual and more integrated with AI, that in-person events are going to be more valuable. People are going to be wanting to attend more in-person events. But right now the industry is screaming virtual. You don't need to do an in-person event when you can just get people in a Zoom room and talk to them there and sell them there, which is fair enough. Virtual events are really powerful, but I think in-person events are extremely valuable, so much more valuable than virtual. And I think they're going to get more and more popular as the virtual saturation increases and as AI gets more integrated into our lives. At the end of the day, we're humans. We want to connect with each other. We want to be in the room with other cool humans, and it seems that Alex Hormozi agrees. So I'm just going to break down what he said in this video and also give my 2 cents on in-person events. All right, so I'm just going to read this segment from Alex Hormozi's book real quick. The first couple sentences talk more about company culture and being an in-person business versus a virtual business. But right down here. So, and by the way, if you're not already doing events at least 1 to 2 times per year, I suggest doing them. They give you great marketing assets. I didn't even sell anything at gym launch events. I just provided value, but I did document as much of the event as I could so that I could use that media in my advertisements. Since the events cost a fortune and I didn't sell anything, that media was the only way I could get returns. So I had to get pretty good at squeezing every last drop of marketing power from every event. Now, there's actually a few things I don't agree with Alex Hormozi in this sentence or in this segment, but he does seem to be a very big believer in in-person events, and he recommends if you're not already doing in-person events 1 to 2 times per year, you should start doing them, which is a very, very important thing coming from Alex Hormozi in his marketing book, that this is essentially supposed to solve the marketing problem in your business. And if he is putting in-person events in that book, that's a pretty big deal. One change I would make is events don't have to cost a fortune, and we have developed a few strategies that turn events into revenue generating experiences. So Alex Hormozi kind of talks a lot about how events are so expensive and he didn't make any money from them, so he had to make money from the marketing. That doesn't really have to be the case. I see what he's saying. He was really investing into the company, the culture, the experience, the community, and he wasn't really focused on making money. But at this point, Gym Launch was already making so much money. But what we've done is we've actually introduced a lot of different revenue streams into our events, so that whether you're doing an acquisition event on the front end for enrolling clients into your business, or you're doing a fulfillment event on the back end, we can do it in a way that is very financially safe for our clients, so we don't have to spend a lot of money. And we can also introduce these revenue streams so that the events are actually making money and they aren't just burning money, so you have to go and make the money back on the marketing. So that's one change I would make to what Alex is saying, but I really like what he's saying and I get the point. But why should you be hosting events for your business? Alex Hormozi gave you his 2 cents up here. He endorsed in-person events, but we've been in the events industry for the last 5 years, and I think events are so incredibly valuable, especially live in-person events. And I jotted down a few reasons why I think you should be hosting events for your business. So up first, like Hormozi said, events generate priceless marketing assets, program and offer content, and testimonials. So when you do an in-person event, whether kind of going back to what he said up here, if you just do an event and it's just for the sake of delivering value to the attendees for community building, you're not going to monetize it at all, not even sponsorships. You can still record that event content and make money on it some other way. You could sell it as a package. You could put it inside of a course or an offer. You can make it its own offer and you could sell it that way, or you can just use the assets from the event to fuel your marketing efforts. So it could be pictures of you on stage. It could be pictures of you and your community talking together. It could be pictures of just your brand with a bunch of people in the room. Whatever it is, the assets that come from in-person events are extremely valuable. I would even say that they are priceless. And also, one thing that's important to mention is the testimonials that you get from events are actually incredible. When people are attending an in-person event, they're usually in this peak state. We actually call it an event horizon. An event horizon is a clear moment in time when there's a before and an after. And usually, if the event is engineered properly, an event is an event horizon. And when somebody is at an event, they're in this peak state, and if it's your event, they're going to be fully immersed in like what you do and your movement and your community, and they're going to like sing your praises. They're going to be like, this person is awesome. They've gotten me some amazing results. Like, all these people in the room are so cool. So if you are hosting in-person events for your business, I would strongly recommend that you collect as many testimonials as possible. Now, moving on to number 2, events position you as an authority in your industry. If you go look at any category king across any industry, they're all hosting in-person events in some way or another. And this has been the case throughout time. You know, whenever somebody gets up on stage and talks about something, they are positioned as an authority. They must have something to say. They look like they are an authority because they're like literally standing above everybody else on this stage. People have used stages and platforms to position themselves as authoritative figures so that they can communicate a message and gain followers and build a movement for thousands and thousands of years. And this hasn't changed. When you still do an event today in 2025, 2026 and beyond, it does position you as an authority because people think that you have something to say. But there's one important nuance here. You need to actually know what you're talking about, and you actually need to deliver value to your attendees. If you have no idea what you're talking about, you can probably get away with it for a few years, but eventually the word's going to spread, especially how connected we are online these days. If you are just spewing nonsense from your stage, people are probably going to catch on. But if you are legit, if you actually solve a real problem and you provide value to your attendees, using a stage as a platform to position yourself as an authority within your industry is an extremely valuable and very proven strategy. Like, people have been doing this for, like I said, thousands of years. But even in the info space, in the online marketing business space, you know, every category king has leveraged events in some way or another to get to where they are today. Now, number 3, it future-proofs your business against the rise of AI and virtual saturation. Now, I already talked about this a little bit up here with Hormozi's paragraph, but right now so many people are doing virtual events. We're becoming so virtual, we're very virtually connected, but it's kind of been proven that this doesn't really scratch the itch for humans. You know, if you go back to the pandemic, I was in college at that time and I was taking a lot of virtual classes. Me and my friends would hang out in Zoom rooms. We honestly talked more than we did when we were in person, but we all felt so incredibly disconnected because it was happening virtually. It wasn't happening in person. So even though virtual events are convenient, they're effective, they do work, they do make money, they do sell people, they don't really satisfy the connection, the need for connection and the need for community that people have. So my opinion is that as we get more and more virtual and that more and more virtual events are happening, people are going to be craving in-person events, and those businesses and those creators and those hosts that are providing in-person events are going to be the ones that can charge a premium for them. And actually, Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, the guy who's pioneering the advancements in AI right now, said in an interview there will be a premium on valuable in-person experiences. And the context as to when he said this is very important. He was asked by the interviewer, what do you think the future of AI is going to look like? You know, he could have said anything. The future of AI, like, it's going to be insane. But what he chose to say in this interview is there will be a premium on valuable in-person experiences. So as we get more integrated with AI, as we get more virtual, as more virtual events happen, people are going to be looking for in-person experiences, and those that host them are going to be able to charge a premium. That's going to happen. We're betting our entire business on that. So I'm very, very confident. Now, number 4, money. Events can generate a frick ton of money. I kind of started that out, so don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. I don't know. Maybe these days, can you cuss on YouTube? I actually have no idea. Anyways, frick. I'm gonna put frick there. Events can make a frick ton of revenue for your business. Ticket sales, sponsorships, event sales, upsells. You can make so much money from events. And it's actually possible, if you're a business that does sales calls, you could do 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, even 12 months of sales calls on one event if you do it properly. So I'm sure by just hearing that, you can see how powerful events can be and how much revenue events can generate. And I have so many videos on this channel about how we generate revenue from events, so I'm not really going to dive into that right now. Up next is LTV. So this applies mainly to fulfillment events, but we have found that those who attend in-person events, so let's just to give you a little context here, if you have a mastermind program or you have a high-ticket coaching program, whatever it is, if you tack on events to that program, people are going to renew into your program again, and they're going to pay you more because of the community that you're building and the value you provide during your in-person events. And we've actually ran this data with our clients. We found one of our clients that charges $30,000 for their coaching program. We found that the people that were renewing into their program, that were going in for year 2 and year 3, those people were attending the in-person events, and the ones that weren't renewing were not attending the in-person events. So now with that company, we make it a huge effort to get people to attend these in-person events because they have such a massive impact on the lifetime value, the LTV of their clients. So this is very powerful. A lot of people see acquisition events and enrollment events as the way to make money, but if you are hosting fulfillment events on the back end of your business, on the back end of your offers, that will generate a lot of revenue from your business as well. All right, got a few more here. Number 6, community. This is a no-brainer, but in-person events build a community within your business. As we become more virtual and separated, people will be hunting for in-person communities. I've kind of already emphasized this with a few other points, so I'm not really going to dive into it right now, but having in-person events either on the front end of your business or the back end, or preferably both, will build this strong, massive community, not even massive, just like this strong, well-connected community around your business and within your business. And as the market gets more saturated and more people come into the industry, that is going to be so valuable. Now, number 7, super fans. What happens when you have a connected community? You create super fans. And having super fans, like I said, especially in today's industry when we're getting more saturated, there's also a huge trust recession going on where people are having a hard time trusting new people in the industry. You know, if you go and you're going to go buy a coaching program from some person online, it's hard to trust them. With how many bad actors have been in the industry and how much hate the coaching consulting industry gets, it is a lot harder for consumers to trust creators these days. That being said, if you have super fans, one, these super fans are going to be the people that buy more products from you. They're going to spend more money with you. They're going to renew into your program, so they're going to make more money for you that way. And also, they're going to go and sing your praises. They're going to go to these other networking events, be like, hey, by the way, I work with this one guy. He coaches me. He is amazing. Or they, she, whatever it is, gender, not gender specific. They are amazing. They provide a really good service. They provide a ton of value. They transform my life. You should go and you should go work with them as well. And they're going to go out there and they're actually going to refer people to your business. And if you have 5 super fans, this is really effective. But imagine if you have 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or 50. As you start to host more in-person events, you're going to build this community, and you're going to build this community of super fans, and they're going to go and they're going to funnel people towards your business, and you're going to become a referral business. Like, that won't be your main acquisition channel, but having referrals coming in on a consistent basis isn't a bad thing. All right, number 8, the last point I want to touch on in this video is value. In-person events are more valuable than any course, any program, or any virtual event. Whether it's the content, the networking, the implementation, or the transformation, in-person events deliver a tremendous amount of value. And I'm a huge believer in this, that in-person events are the most valuable thing that you can do for your clients. If you get them in the room, you solve problems in their business, you move the needle in their business, but also you just get them talk, you introduce them to potential business partners and to friends, and you help them build relationships. Events can create real transformation and actually change the lives of your clients and your attendees. So events deliver a tremendous amount of value. Now, I could go on for hours about why events are so valuable and why you should be integrating them into your coaching or consulting business, but I'm going to stop there for the sake of time. Up here, just want to recap, Alex Hormozi endorses in-person events in his marketing playbook from his $100 million Money Models launch. There's a ton of reasons why you should start hosting events for your business. I just listed them here. Now, if you are a coach or consultant that is currently hosting events and you're not seeing the results that you want, maybe you're not getting high quality attendees into the room of your events, maybe you're struggling with conversions, maybe you're struggling with stick rates, maybe you've lost a lot of money on events because you don't know how to negotiate with venues, or you're spending way too much on food and beverage, whatever it is, if that's you, go to bullishevents.com. I got some stuff there for you. And also, if you just want to get into the event space, maybe you are a coach or consultant and you haven't started hosting events yet, but you want to, also go to www.bullishevents.com. It's also down in the description. I got some stuff there for you as well. Now, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.